Okay, hello everyone. I haven't seen you guys in a while on YouTube. I've done a little bit of post occasionally, sparingly on Instagram and a little bit on Facebook, but not a lot, not being consistent on purpose. Just dealing with personal stuff, a lot of movement and things like that, physical moving. Nothing more ominous than that. But this year has been an amazingly busy year, and there has been a lot of new developments with me and my diet, and I thought I'd just come on here and share it with you. So, the last time we spoke, I remember saying that I was going to do fully raw vegan for another year. Now, I did not start that, okay? I found that once I started sampling with cooked food, as my videos do suggest in my past experience, it becomes harder for me to actually stick to the raw vegan diet fully, right? I still incorporate my fruits, I still love salads and chia puddings and raw burgers and all of the great things that those foods do for me as far as my health and my joy. I love a smoothie, but once I started tasting a little bit of cooked food and stuff like that, it really did take over, and the feeling of wanting to feel really full took over again, right? And I don't want to make it seem like it's some entity outside of me that just took over. I decided to be relaxed about it, and I did notice a few things of why I probably wanted to eat more cooked food. So at the beginning of this year, I started working out daily, okay? I started doing a series of workout challenges. The first one I did, and I actually have that video on my channel, was I worked out for every day for the entire month, and I did that in February. And I did that in the gym, just to be clear. I did a mixture of cardio, which would be probably some reps on the treadmill, some runs, some sprints, and mostly walking for like under 10 minutes, just to start. And I also did, I believe it was 2 lifting exercises on 2 lifting machines, whether it's legs or arms. Yeah, I think I started, it was arms. And then the next day would be legs to give it a day's rest. So I would do 2 exercises after, say, a treadmill type of sprint and walk. And I would do 3 sets of each weightlift machine exercise. So that was pretty good, and it set up a baseline. It made me feel really, really good. If you want to know more about the results, you can look at that video another time. But why I brought up the workout stuff is because I got it in my mind that the more I lift and do heavy lifting, I am hungrier. And as you may already know, depending on where you are in your raw vegan journey, with your diet, eating raw, you have to eat at least 5 to damn near 10 times what you usually would if you eat cooked food. And it would be even more comparable to if you don't even have a cooked food plant-based diet. So for me, it was, where I first started, it was eating meat. I didn't have to eat a whole lot with that type of dense form of protein. And then it went from plant-based cooked food, and I had to eat a little bit more. So I got a little more carb heavy, a lot more potatoes, a lot more rice or brown rice, so to speak, maybe broccoli, steamed broccoli to bulk up, to feel that feeling of fullness. Then when raw vegan hit, so much more food I feel like I needed. Now this is not through the whole time that you're raw vegan, because after a certain time, you don't even want high protein and you don't even want high fat, okay? But at first you may like just be down in avocados, or even some type of olive oils or balsamic vinaigrettes in your salads. because it feels so light and you're used to a certain type of body feeling, you know, of fullness. So you're searching for that psychologically. So you have to eat. And I kid you not, depending on what you're eating, if it's vegetables, specifically leafy greens, 10 times more, let's say, than what you may have eaten when you had like a steak and a baked potato and you were good for the night. You know, I found myself snacking a lot frequently when I first started raw vegan. But I'm experienced enough to know that over time, and with fasts, with certain cessations in the diet, with juice fasting, you learn a lot about hunger, and you have those things. Your body knows, but your mind is the thing that helps you really, specifically if you're not consistent. You have to remind yourself that, okay, it's almost like you're off of a wagon and you're off of eating light and raw vegan, and you feel like you have to build up to it again. So when you're doing a raw vegan diet, you do have to most likely build up to it again, that you can eat probably 800 to 1200 calories a day. And I don't mean to try to do that, to try to restrict your diet or for losing weight or any type of, you know, eating disorders or anything. I'm not suggesting that, but you will feel satisfied with that. It just gets to that point. I'm not sure if it's because we're so hydrated, and a lot of raw vegan foods are very hydrating, or it's because of the nutrient density. Your body just feels satisfied. And also maybe psychologically, you're just used to eating less. And because maybe where you live or your living situation, you may not have as much access. Like if you look at vending machines and corner stores, you don't see like great organic fresh fruit when you just put the dollar in the machine, you know? So you kind of grow a discipline, not because you're trying, but just because, hey, there's nothing really available to you unless you're next to a grocery store and you know how to just quickly whip up something, or you order, you know? So yeah, a lot of that comes with time and depending on where you are. But yeah, in my preference, I do like, and it's specifically if you're trying to heal something with your body, heal something with health, it would help tremendously if you stay 20, maybe 10 to 20% of your diet will go to fats. Anything over that, it feels a little heavy, you know, and that's the strange part again. One part I'm talking about the raw vegan diet being light, and the next part I'm talking about it being heavy. But those who have done it for years understand what I'm talking about. And maybe, again, some of these things are just psychological, you know, like you feel like you need more food. So that's where your hunger comes from. And I have videos on cravings as well if you want to check that out on the channel. But it's really, you have to be very intuitive and really focus on your own journey and figure out for yourself, what do you need to focus on? What do you need to do? What part are you at in your journey? Whether it's for health or it's just overall raw vegan maintenance. You have to decide, you know, where you're at. And where I'm at right now, I appreciate eating cooked foods. But I feel like, and this is interesting because it's the end of summer, and usually summer I just love raw vegan foods. You know, you don't have to force me, or I don't need any type of mental prep or anything. But coming towards this like holiday season and end of the year and this whole winter solstice, I really do feel like it's calling me to be raw again, fully raw. But this time, I'm not announcing anything. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. And that's another thing that I've learned. Maybe I'll put a video about a lot of things that I've learned through the years with diet and exercise and stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel more intuitively like my body would like to feel lighter and not to go through the heaviness of a cooked plant-based diet this year. at the end of this year. Specifically, I have other things to do. I want to stay light. I want to be energetic, and I don't want to be giving that energy, majority of that, to digestion, right? So again, I'm deciding for myself, based on the goals that I have, what is going to be the best diet, what is going to be the best fuel in my tank for the remainder of this year. So again, pay attention to when you're working out, it could make you hungrier. When you're lifting heavy, it could make you hungrier. And a salad, perhaps even a smoothie, and even lots of water, which usually satiate me, may just not cut it. You know, and I do also supplement as well. So, you know, you may have to incorporate some cooked food. You know, and if it's not for any type of major health thing that you're trying to heal, sometimes, but even you can heal certain things by incorporating a little bit of cooked food. But for the majority, if you want to do kind of like a raw vegan fasting or raw vegan challenge for an extended period of time so you can heal something, then you may want to lift light or just do aerobic type exercises, because that weight may be very, very taxing on your body, and you are going to look for calories. You're going to look for a specific type of calories. Specifically, if you're not already used to being raw vegan, you're going to look for the old stuff. And I don't necessarily mean like go back to meat. I don't do that personally. But you may look for something beefier, meatier. Again, it could just be a program. You know, program mind, program in the body. But when you start feeling those muscle tears and bones and the joints and all the different little things that happen when you work out and you challenge your body, it's going to ask, okay, now what? How are you going to build me back up? You know, I gave you the tears, I gave you the rips, and, you know, now you got the muscles. And I actually gained a lot of weight from doing this actual weightlifting. And maybe I'll make that another video. So, you know, it's so much information to share. So, yeah, it was mostly muscle, and that kind of surprised me. But it didn't at the same time. I've heard people talk about building muscle and that adding to their weight, but I experienced it and it was amazing, you know? So I appreciate it now, but I do know that once I lowered my weightlifting, I did get down in size a lot. Maybe like 7 or 8 pounds. About 7 or 8 pounds consistently. I was able to get down to that by stop working out. If you could believe that. By stopping weightlifting and working out and just doing maybe every 2 days, walks, long walks, or maybe the stairs, like 5 flights of stairs, and a walk, maybe a half a mile or a mile, and occasional sprints every 2 to 3 days. So that's from going from every day to every other day lifting and aerobics to every 2 to 3 days just aerobics, light walking, and things like that. So to know little to no weightlifting. Definitely not 3 sets, probably 2 sets, even if I even threw in some weights. So yeah, it's been a lot of discoveries, and just let me know and let the community know what you've been through when you've added weight. Are you hungrier? Does eating, say, a mango satiate you? Is that what your body is calling for? Or is it a challenge? Did you have to cut back actually on lifting so heavy because you feel that your body just was begging for bulky, heavy, maybe cooked protein, fats, or foods? Definitely drop that in the comments. And I love you guys, and I hope you are doing well in your journey. And please just be honest, transparent with yourself. Try not to judge yourself, even if you have something major in your mind that's something affecting your health that you feel like you really need to do this diet for. You will have to give yourself grace. But, you know, just imagine you can get yourself back on the horse, right? You can do it. And the best way sometimes to transition, this may seem cold, is to go straight to a juice fast and just relieve yourself of all the chewing. So your brain doesn't get confused. Should you eat raw? Should you eat cooked, or whatever the case is? Just eliminate that altogether. Just make sure you get your nutrients and just liquefy your diet for a certain amount of time. And always check your body and see, or check with your physician if that's what you need to do, and see what's changed, you know. But there are many different roads to health. This is just the path that I'm on, and the path that I'm sharing with you is awesome raw veganism, raw vegan diet, just to be clear, food diet, and also grace for your old self coming through and just wanting to inhale some potato chips, or you know, baked potato every now and then. As long as your mind is set and you know you can get right back on. If you really have the why, you have the vision, you'll get back on it. You just have to roll with it and be open to the lessons. You know, this is not a cult, it's not a religion. I know some people feel like veganism is, and it can be in certain spaces, but it has to be something that you feel strongly about. And that's why I would say, continue to lead with your why. Why are you doing this? Because 9 times out of 10, nobody's holding a gun to your head telling you have to eat raw. So there is some initial pull that made you watch this video, that makes you even look at people that are doing it through social media and say, that seems like me. I'd like to do that, you know? So don't ignore that, foster that. Keep watching the videos, you know, and it may be a time that you actually start to engage and start to actually physically do it. But there's nothing wrong with preparing your mind, because you're going to need it. So prepare your mind, keep visualizing what you want, keep stating what you want. Prayer, if that's what you do, affirmative prayer, I am raw vegan. And, you know, keep with the good fight. I believe in you. I believe in myself. And I love you guys, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye.